Hey guys, it's me. I'm still alive. Sort of. Yay! Yeah. It's Saturday. I didn't stream last weekend. Whoops, sorry, my bad. Um, a lot happened. We'll talk about that. But yeah, I'm here today. We're gonna play a little bit of Risk of Rain. We're probably only gonna play like an hour or so. I got a lot of shit to do today, so I don't have a ton of time to stream today, so we'll probably only do one run unless I specifically die, and then maybe two runs. But we'll aim for one run. But yeah, let's get into it. I hope you all had a good weekend last weekend, and I hope your weekend is going good so far this weekend. Also, if you hear any crinkling sounds, I'm gonna be straight with you. I'm in the process of dyeing my hair, so I have like a shower cap on. So whoops, it's probably fine. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't have a ton of time today, so I'm multitasking. I'm doubling up, you know? Doing two things at once. And making it work. Okay. Let's get comfortable. Pull up a chair and get my keyboard in the right spot. Okay, okay. Also, my chair is unbearably squeaky. I don't know what to do about it. Okay. And I promise we will play a multiplayer game at some point soon, where I play with my friends, but it's not today. Okay, so we're obviously gonna do Huntress. We'll do Rainstorm. Do we want to do artifacts? Let's do some artifacts. Let's do control. Command, that's what it is. Whatever, control, command, they're like the same word. Should I do monster drops on death? No, I'll leave it with just command. Okay. Ooh, let's get into it. What a hell of a week, you know? Okay. So last weekend. Well, okay, so let's start last week. Last week I was weirdly sick. I had like some weird shit was going on. I have like regular panic attacks that like I get from certain situations. Certain sounds and stuff like that cause me to have panic attacks. I mean, pretty straightforward for like panic attacks, like the normal, I guess you could say, for anyone who's experienced them. And like normally my panic attacks will like last at most like 2 hours on like a bad day, where like I can't get away from the thing that's upsetting me, or causing me to freak out, you know. But for the most part, like, I don't know, it's pretty simple to like, I wouldn't say simple, never mind, that's not the right word. It's not like a long-term forever thing. It happens, it's done, it moves on. Like that's it. I'm gonna do this one, of course. Oh hey Hades. Oh, yeah, go mow. Gross lawns, who needs them? But anyways, sorry, I got distracted. Last week, on like Tuesday, I started having like a panic attack. Like I said, like a normal panic attack. I don't like fireworks. They're like very upsetting. It's a lot of loud sounds. It's very stressful. It's not something that is my favorite in the world. But, you know, with the 4th of July, in the US people celebrate with fireworks. And so I had already been a little bit stressed out because of that. So I had like a mini panic attack on Tuesday evening, and it was fine. It was just like during the fireworks, I was having trouble calming down, but like it passed and I was able to go to bed, and it was not the end of the world. And then on Wednesday, the same thing happened. I had Wednesday evening, people started shooting off fireworks again. Had like a little small panic attack. I recovered, I was fine. I went to bed and I was fine the next morning. On Thursday, I was fine in the morning, and then like there was no fireworks or anything to like trigger me, but like I started having a really severe panic attack and it just didn't go away. It was all day. I was like almost non-functional on Thursday. It was so bad that I ended up like leaving work halfway through the day. And by leaving work, I mean just not working anymore. Since I work from home, it's always weird to be like, I left work. I stopped working because I couldn't focus. I was really, really overwhelmed. I felt like increasingly stressed, but like it was really weird. The best way I can explain it is it's like I wasn't mentally having a panic attack. I was only physically having a panic attack. So like I wasn't stressed in the way of like something upsetting me. But I was stressed because my body felt like I was having a panic attack. Like I was having trouble breathing, I just couldn't quite catch my breath. My heart was like beating insanely fast. I felt like I was being crushed. And I didn't have any reason why that was happening. I guess like normally when you have a panic attack, it's very connected to your emotional state and your mentality at the moment. So like they align where you feel panicked because something environmentally or mentally is upsetting you, and it's like across the board. You feel it in your body, you feel it in your heart, you feel it in your brain, like you're freaking out. But this was so weird because it didn't feel like that. It just felt like this very distinct discrepancy between how I was feeling mentally and how I was feeling physically, which was very like uncomfortable. I can't really explain it other than that. It just felt completely wrong. And I hated it. Obviously. Who would enjoy that? So all Thursday evening I felt like this. So probably like early evening time, I like messaged my doctor and I like contacted them, and they ended up prescribing me some medicine to try to help and everything. So I went and got the medicine, and then I slept for the rest of the day into Friday. So Friday morning, I was finally calming down and like not freaking out. And I felt like okay. But I was still like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, for anyone who's never had a panic attack, it's very draining. It's like physically and mentally draining. And so, because I had been having one for like, I don't know, fucking 16 hours, 24 hours. I guess it was actually like Monday night was the first like mini panic attack I had, and then Tuesday was another mini panic attack, and then Wednesday was when the long one started, because it was Wednesday into to Thursday, because like when I expected that when I went to sleep it would go away, and I woke up and I was still like having the same feeling, which is weird. Like you wake up, nothing's going on, and you're like completely panicked and like freaked out. And your heart's beating really fast, and you can't quite catch your breath, and you feel scared. You know, that doesn't really feel good. But yeah, so I was a mess. So I took Thursday and Friday off of work to try and recover. And like I said, the doctor prescribed me some medicine on Thursday, and I was feeling better Friday, but I was still like really, really physically exhausted because of just like the strain that comes with having a basically a mental breakdown. So I was relaxing on Friday at my desk, my office, just kind of chilling, playing games, trying not to like get stressed. I was worried that the panic attack was going to start again, because I had taken the medication on Thursday, but then like I slept it off, so I wasn't necessarily like on the medication anymore, because it had run its course kind of thing, so I was scared that it would come back and I would start freaking out again. And so I'm just relaxing, and we had put the baby gate up at the bottom of the stairs to keep the dogs downstairs, and because I just wanted some time to myself. I just needed some space. I love my dogs, but sometimes like it can get overwhelming, and I just needed to not exist with others for a bit. So I got up and I went to the bathroom, and I was eating like movie theater candy. I had bought some candy when I went to pick up my medicine, because I was like, yes, this will make me calm and happy. And so I had bought Raisinets and cookie dough bites. And let's see, what do I want? Let's do this one. And I had already eaten half of the cookie dough bites, and they were sitting on my desk, and the Raisinets were also sitting on my desk. But like, you know, it wasn't a big deal because the dogs were downstairs, so like I could leave the room and not worry about like them eating it or jumping up on my desk. But Dean didn't know that I went to the bathroom, and so he moved to the gate, and the dogs came upstairs, and Cammy made a beeline for my desk and jumped up on my desk and ate the whole box of Raisinets. And the box of cookie dough bites. So Raisinets are super poisonous because it's got chocolate and raisins, which are both things that are super bad for dogs. So that was not great of her to eat. Of all the things she could have eaten, that was probably one of the worst ones. So yeah, I love that. What do I want? I think I want this. So I had to rush her to the emergency vet on Friday. And of course, like it's not like a simple thing. It's not like they can just make her throw up and like she's fine, like they do with like just chocolate or something. Raisins, like I guess they can get like there's like a specific thing inside of raisins that they don't like fully understand the cause or whatever, but it gets into the dog's bloodstream or something, and I think it like, I can't remember, I think it's their pancreas that like fucks it up, like destroys it or something. But basically it can kill them. And it doesn't always happen immediately either. It can happen like 48 hours after eating raisins. And not every dog has the same reaction either. Some dogs don't react to it, so it's not a big deal, but some dogs will die. So we had to leave her at the emergency vet for the 3 days. So she was there Friday night into Sunday afternoon. So I didn't go to jujitsu because I was very stressed. And like I still feel like kind of anxious and like bleh. But I am feeling a little bit better. You know how it is. It's just some days. I don't know. She's fine, by the way. I should have said that initially. I don't know if I did. She is okay. She did not have a severe reaction. She did stay at the vet for the 48 hours. They were super nice. They loved her because Cammy is a cute dog. And she loves to cuddle with people, so like they were all over her there. But yeah, it was a lot. It was very, very stressful. And then it kind of sucked too because I had already scheduled to get my first tattoo on Sunday. So I was like, should I go? Should I not go? I'm kind of stressed. And then like Cammy's vet appointment, because of how long she was there and like everything, it's not cheap. So yeah, that's great. I mean, obviously I'll pay it. I'll pay whatever it takes, you know. But it's also difficult to like have to pay so much money. I don't know. It's like conflicting because like you obviously want to do it because you're concerned for them and everything, but there's also like a lot of frustration involved with like the fact that things are so expensive. I'll talk about another thing that's expensive soon, so we'll get to that. But yeah, it's just kind of like a lot of stress involved with money. Money in general is like a huge stress point for me. It just gives me a lot of anxiety and depression. I mean, like everything's so expensive. We don't make enough at the jobs that we do. Even when you're making good enough money, like things always come up. I'm not the healthiest of people. Not like healthy as in like I eat bad or anything like that, but healthy as in like medically I just am sickly. I am prone to getting very sick. I have an autoimmune disease. I have a couple of other medical problems. So it's not necessarily like the easiest to be able to afford to pay for all of those things. When everything's so fucking expensive. So, you know, life. It's hard. It sucks. But no, honestly, like it's definitely something that's not fun, to say the least. And it never gets easy. No matter how much money you make, I feel like there's always like a lot involved in fear of not making enough money, fear of like not being able to pay your bills, of losing everything because you can't pay your bills. You know, all of those things are very hard. It's not something that anyone really wants to go through. You know, it's not a choice that people are like, ah, yes, this sounds like a great time. It's something they get stuck with and they have no other options. But anyways. But yeah, so Cammy's fine. I did end up getting my tattoo. It actually was cheaper than they had quoted me because it was really quick. So I've got my first tattoo. It's a Risk of Rain tattoo. Yeah, I love it. I know that sounded like I was being sarcastic, but I honestly really love it and I'm very happy. It's in the itchy stage right now, which sucks. But it looks good and I am pleased. Yeah. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, things that stress me out. Let's talk about more things that stress me out. So work. Okay, so this like whole drama thing happened at work. It's not like a directly like me drama. It's like a company boss's drama. So I guess people did not properly communicate something within the company to the people below them. They saw nothing wrong with it, by the way, that they did not communicate this information. You'll understand why it's frustrating in a minute, but when it was found out, people were fucking pissed. And to find out that it was something that people knew and they just didn't communicate pissed people off even more. Oh hey look, this is here and I didn't see it. I'll have to buy that once the timer runs out. Anyways, so one of the IT guys, well let's start further back. So Recently I've been having computer issues, and like some of the other people have been having computer issues that like their computer's just running a little slow. It's like chugging when it shouldn't be chugging. It's having difficulty and like lagging essentially. But there was like no reasonable cause for it. Like, it's not like you could say like there's a storm coming through so my internet sucks or something like that, or like I'm using a specific program that sucks. Like, it was chugging from the get-go. So like you start up your computer in the morning and it's immediately chugging. And so like it didn't make sense of why it was being like this. It didn't correspond to like anything logical. So I guess one of the IT people also noticed this on their own computers. And so they started investigating what was causing it. And they found that there was productivity monitoring software installed that was not there before, that we were not told of, and that's what was causing the lagging and the other problems. The software was basically like fucking eating up our RAM or whatever. So yeah, that was not great because nobody... Okay, so like, here's my stance. Productivity software is bullshit depending on your specific job. Okay? I don't agree with its use. I think that it's a way for companies to feel like they can hire less people, and they can expect more for less pay. What I mean is, if you install productivity software, okay, you have 2 employees. One employee finishes a specific thing really, really quickly. It happens to be something they really enjoy, so they worked on it really fast and they knew exactly what to do. Another employee does something very similar, but it takes them twice as long. Okay, well now we have a reason to fire that other employee because they're not as good as that employee that did it immediately. But that's like illogical and shitty. Because like, okay, but that person now knows how to do it and they probably will do it faster the next time. Okay, so like, fucking how does this help? Okay, well then, let's just look at it from the standpoint of like people being active. Okay, so what you're saying is if you're not moving your mouse, you're not doing a job. Well, that's stupid too, because sometimes part of my job is just reading through fucking documentation in order to learn how to do something. So there'll be like an hour that I'll just be staring at documentation, trying to understand it, not moving my mouse. Does that mean I'm not working? No. I'm fucking researching the hell out of something. But visually, it looks like I'm not fucking working. And then I look like a lazy shit, but I'm completely working. So like there's a lot of like misunderstanding, just like a miscommunication almost in like productivity software and like what it considers productive. I just don't think that it's valid for all job types as a way to track people. And like, it's also just the concept of like, you don't trust your employees to do their job. And you're not letting their work show their productivity. Because like the thing is if you give me 10 tickets and I finish 10 tickets, then where's the problem? Why do you need to micromanage me? You know? I got my work done. I think that's the thing that's frustrating for me the most, is like there are downtimes where like there's just not a ton for us to work on, so we'll like be doing maintenance, we'll be doing tech debt, we'll be like doing stuff that's not like realistically assigned tickets, but like our boss knows what we're working on. Like there's a clear expectation of what we should be doing, and there's like a number of ways to track that, but like all of the ways to track that are like fucking communicating with your employees, not like monitoring every click on their computer. I don't know. I have a lot of dislike, again, for the concept behind productivity trackers. I just think that it gives you an unrealistic standpoint and expectation of what people should be doing. It's also very hard to essentially use that information as comparison points against other staff. Some people just work really fucking fast. Some people work really slow. But it doesn't mean that like one of them's worse than the other. Like, okay, I work very, very fast. There's another coworker of mine that works a little slower, but like he knows stuff that I very well like do not know. And like he's a very good resource for a number of things. And so like if they fired him just because I work faster than him, then that would be bullshit. They'd be losing a majorly important resource. So productivity trackers, I just don't like them. So the fact that our company installed productivity trackers on our computers and didn't notify us felt like a real shit thing. It just feels untrusting. Like I said, like they don't trust you to do your job properly. They have to babysit you behind your back and not tell you about it. It just feels very sneaky and shitty. So, like I said, these IT guys, they had been looking at what was like hogging all their computer RAM, and they found this productivity tracker, and then they asked about it. And like, okay, I don't like the productivity tracker, but like the way that the guy, the person, I guess the main person behind it, like fucking responded was probably the worst way you could have responded when an employee seems upset about something. And like, I don't mean just a single individual employee either. Like the problem is that when this IT person brought this up, they did it in a group chat where a large majority of the company could see. And everyone was fucking pissed. The whole IT team was like, what the fuck? And then like all of the tech team was the same way. Because we had found out that they were like, oh well, we just installed it on the tech team's computers as like a trial. And it's like, okay, well if it's a trial, then it means you're planning on utilizing it. You may not use this company for it, but you're planning on utilizing productivity software. So like there's no point in like trying to pull the, no, we're just thinking about it thing, because it's, you know, you're at the point where you're more than thinking about it, you're testing it, which means you've already decided this is something you want. So, like, don't even play that game. And like, the guy who is responding to all of IT's messages, one of the IT guys is like, I just really don't like it, especially considering we're banking software. We work with people's sensitive information. Like, it's I work in the mortgage team. Like, we have people's social security numbers, we have their addresses, we have their banking details, we have their financial details, we have like everything you need to know to buy a house, which is a lot of personal information. So the idea that this productivity tracking company now has access to every single thing on my computer, you know, it's not the greatest. It's a little risky. Like, all it takes is for one person to be able to hack into the productivity software, and then you're kind of in a really bad spot. So, like, there's a lot of reasons it's not the best. And I'm not an expert in it. The IT team's the ones who were, like, very, very upset. Like I said, I'm not happy about it. And if it comes a point where, like... Sorry, I just need to move. If it comes a point where the company's like, oh, well, your productivity is not like enough for us, and we're gonna lower your pay, or some bullshit like that, where they try to like utilize it as a not like a bargaining chip, but like an attack on me. To be able to say, oh look, but when we track you online, you're not doing anything, you're not doing enough, you're not doing enough for your pay, so we're gonna pay you less, or some bullshit like that, then I'll be quitting. You know, that's not a game I want to play. But I'm also not going to beat around the bush about it either. But like, the IT team was trying to have like a proper discussion with these people about the negatives of productivity software and why they didn't think we should be utilizing it within our company. And the guy who was in charge of like fighting this discussion was just like, the biggest dick. Cause like they're like trying to talk to him and he just keeps being like, well, if you got nothing to hide, then what's the problem? Hmm? What are you hiding? Huh? And it's like, bro, what the fuck? That's not like a fair debate. We're literally telling you that we're trying to protect people's information and you're like, nah, sounds like you're trying to get out of doing your job. You trying to be a lazy fuck? like I don't know. Everything about it just came off as like complete dickery. Like the guy was oblivious to the understanding of like, maybe don't be an asshole when trying to have a discussion with staff. Because like everyone ended it with him just being absolutely pissed. Everyone was fucking livid. And like it didn't go well. I don't know how that man went into the discussion and thought what he was saying was not going to piss everyone off, because that's that's crazy. But yeah, so it was ugly for sure, and people are not happy about it. So I mean, I can't, like I said, I can't blame them. I do not agree with the usage of productivity software unless it's for like a very specific purpose and a very specific time frame. If, you know, it's like, I don't even know how, like an example that I can use because I just really don't like it. I mean, I don't know, it's kind of shit. I just hate it. I just, like I said it before, I think it's a way for companies to fire their employees. To be able to say, oh, well, you know, Steve did this 2 times faster than you did it, so we're gonna fire you and we're just gonna have Steve start doing twice as much work because he'll do it faster than you do it. Like, okay, but now you're fucking overwhelming poor Steve and he's just trying to live his life, brah. Like, maybe be a little gentle on your staff. But no, they don't care about that. They care about how much money they can save, how much money they can make. It's all about profits, baby. But yeah, I don't know. Shit's kind of dumb. So there was that whole thing at work, which was not enjoyable. Like I said, it was very frustrating. And then like the extra frustrating part is like, I guess my manager did not know about it. And so they were like, who fucking approved this and installed it without telling anyone? It's like, okay, you want to test it, that's fine, but like, I don't know, at least notify your staff. Oh yeah, that was the other thing the guy kept saying is, well, you're working on company computers, so we can do whatever we want, so your opinion doesn't really matter. And it was like, guy, like, fucking calm down and like have a discussion. Stop being a prick. It was just stupid. I don't know. The guy was an asshole. He did not make any good points just because he was like being very overly aggressive about it, and just trying to say that if you didn't allow the software, then it meant that you were lazy, you weren't doing your job properly, you were hiding things from the company, and maybe stealing. Like everything he said just made it sound like he was demonizing you if you didn't like approve of this software that he decided to install. So yeah, it wasn't a good look for the company, in my opinion. They really shat on themselves this time, but you know, it just be like that sometimes. People do stupid ass things and they think stupid things and they don't properly think through how people are going to respond to their actions or how it will affect people. They only think about the monetary gains from it, and those aren't necessarily the main thing you should be focusing on in all scenarios. I'm very much of the opinion that in order for a company to be productive and to be, you know, valued, they have to treat their employees as if they're valued as well, and they have to do what they can to make sure the employees get proper pay and you know, other benefits such as health insurance and coverage and shit like that. But I don't know, nowadays it feels like companies are so focused on profits that all goes to the wayside, while they're busy attempting to essentially rob you blind, and get whatever they can out of you without paying for it. You know, the usual. I don't know. I know I'm ranting. I'm sorry. It's just what I'm good at, guys. I'm very, very good at ranting. Um, but let's bring up the other discussion that I wanted to rant about. I like vaguely mentioned money concerns. The United States is such bullshit. Is basically what I wanted to complain about. It's something I complain about every weekend when I stream about how bullshit everything in the US is. But I'd like to complain more. So I had surgery in December. After my surgery, I got like a bill in March, I think, for the surgery. My insurance covered $25,000 of the surgery. The surgery cost was $43,000, something like that. I don't remember math. They told me that I'd pay $18,000 out of pocket, which is a hell of a lot of money. I mean, who just has that sitting around waiting to like spend on medical bills? Not me, bitch. But yeah, so they were like, you have to pay $18,000. Then I got a bill in the mail, and it was like for $14,000. And I was like, oh, it must have gone through insurance again, and they must have discounted it, you know, given me some kind of like benefit, something. Sometimes they just do that, but they'll discount it because you're paying that amount out of pocket. So they'll give you like a discount because it's not going through the insurance company. Whereas if they put it through the insurance company, they'll make them pay full price. So I thought it was something like that. And then on the bill, it also said if I paid it soon, that they would take $2,000 off. I guess it was, how much was the bill? I'm trying to do math real quick. I think the bill was $14,000, and then they were gonna take off a bunch. I don't know. In the end, I ended up paying $11,000. It was difficult, and we were like in a little bit of a rough spot for a bit while we like recovered our savings after paying it. And I thought that that was it. You know, I paid for my surgery and I was done. It wasn't it. It's never it. It's never the end of it. There's always more. Did I pass the portal? Where's the portal at? Am I blind? Am I dumb? Oh, was it down here? I'm so stupid. Either way. But so I thought that was it. I thought I'd pay the $11,000. It cost me a fortune. I was very upset about it. But I thought that like I was good to go now. I thought I had like covered everything. I thought I had like dealt with my debts, basically. No. That was not the case. On like, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, I had a doctor's appointment. And it was like, it was not that long before my appointment, probably like an hour before my appointment. I got like a notification in my email that I had a new bill available through my doctor's office, and I thought it was a bill for some blood work that I had just done. And so I was like, oh, the insurance probably covered it, so it's probably just telling me that I don't have to pay anything. And so I open up the bill, and it says that I owe $18,000. And I'm like, the fuck? And I'm very confused because it's got the like date of my surgery, and I'm like, but I paid for that. I don't understand. Like, how much more money is this gonna cost? Like, what the fuck? Do they think like we're made out of money? Like, why is this so fucking stupid? I don't know. I was very, very upset. So I called them to try to figure things out because I thought that it was just a misunderstanding. And they're like, no. The $14,000 that you paid before, where you got the discount and everything, that was just the surgeon's bill. It was $7,000 for the surgeon, $7,000 for the surgeon's assistant, and then, fucking bitch, it took my feather. What did I want? So it was $7,000 for the surgeon, $7,000 for the surgeon assistant, and then the $18,000 was the hospital bill. It was everything else. And so I'm like, okay, let me do the math. 18,000 plus 14,000. Like 32, I'm bad at math, so it's taken me a long time and I still think that might be wrong. $32,000 for my surgery. $32,000 out of pocket for my surgery that I have to pay. $32,000. Who the fuck has $32,000 just sitting around waiting to pay a fucking doctor's bill? Like, it's like taking out another fucking student loan. I don't know. It's very upsetting because like the thing is I pay a fucking fortune for my medical insurance too. So it's like I pay a fortune. I have to do an out-of-pocket deductible pay. So it's a $5,000 deductible. So I already have to pay $5,000 regardless in order for them to start covering things. Because woohoo, insurance companies are bitches. They'll do everything they can to try to get out of paying for your shit. And so, like, everything's just fucking so expensive. Everything's so fucking expensive. It's just a trap. It's all a trap. I sound like an angry conspiracy theorist, but like, honestly, how does that work? And like, why does the surgeon get paid separately? Why is it separated out that way? Like, and why so much money? Like, why do I have insurance if it's not gonna cover things? Like, why so many whys? And I just don't have any answers either, is the thing. Like, I don't have any good logical reasons for why this is happening in this way. I got nothing. That's just fucking how the cookie crumbles, baby. So, like, it's disappointing. It's frustrating. It sucks. 'Cause now I have to figure out where I'm gonna pull $18,000 out of. Fucking, I don't have it stuck up my ass. So, I don't know. I'm gonna have to end up doing like some kind of payment plan or something. But like, it's just so difficult because I feel like you can't catch a break nowadays. You know, like you have no options. You know, people are always talking shit because they're like, kids nowadays aren't buying houses. But at the same time, they're like, there's not enough houses for people. Kids aren't having kids, you know? Like, the 20-year-old, 30-year-old people are not having children. Well, how the fuck do you think I'm supposed to be able to afford a child when I can't even afford to pay my medical bill? Like, where am I gonna pull $32,000 out of? Like, to pay medical expenses. Okay, well, like, that's for a surgery. What happens when I have a child? Like, how much does a pregnancy cost? How many doctors of visits do you have to go to? How is the insurance company gonna find a way to get out of paying that? Because I'm sure they're gonna fucking try. It's just so many things. And then you move into the payments of childcare. You know? Like, it's sad. It's honestly so depressing to think about. That, like, we just can't do it. We're just stuck. And then, like, I feel upset too because we've got the writers union and now the actors union, like both boycotting, picketing. What do we call it? How do we call it? The words. I'm gonna say picketing. And that's, I mean, I'm happy for them. I really am. I hope that they get a good deal. but it also like brings this small amount of almost jealousy because like not all companies have like union options, and like who's there to like be my support. Like Adam Conover is like doing a lot of like stuff for the writers, and like I just wish I had somebody in my corner like that helping me, like to get fair pay, helping, you know, everyone. Because like the thing is we shouldn't have to fight for it so fucking hard. It really shouldn't be like this. Why is inflation running so rampant and people are not getting paid a valid wage based on the inflation rate? Why are certain people within a company getting fucking 12 times the amount that the lower end employees are? You know? It's hard because like on one hand I'm like, yeah, as your role changes you should get a pay increase. But there are companies where like their employees are making minimum wage and their fucking executives are like rich bank ass bitches who just like sit in a room all day not doing anything. Elon Musk, you stupid bitch, you know? Like talking shit and posting on Twitter. Like it's hard because like there's people working every day of their life, working themselves to fucking death in an attempt to just make ends meet. And then there's these other people who are just like stupid assholes who don't understand like how fucking spoiled they are. It's hard. And then like, why do we still have a pay discrepancy between men and women? Why is that a fucking thing? Between different races? What the fuck? What are we? Like, why can't we be more uniform about our pay rates? And like, our insurance options? I don't know, like... It's absurd to me that we end up with so many people on the street and we end up so many people dying because of money. You know? And like, yeah, there are some people who end up like homeless because of their own choices or their own inactions or negative actions that they've taken, of course. There's that. But there's also those people who get stuck in that position because they're not given much choice. Because the debt is absolutely crushing them. You know? What are they supposed to do? Where do they go for help? Who can they go to? I don't know, you try to go to a bank to get a loan and you just end up in just as shitty of a position because now you have this debt weighing over you, if you can even get the loan. You know? Like, some banks will just be like, oh, you couldn't pay something? Nope. Nope. People are like, again, why don't people want to buy houses? Well, look at all the fucking costs that comes with having a house. Like, what if my roof starts leaking? Then I have to fucking replace my roof. Do you know how much money that costs? Do you know how expensive that is? Where am I gonna pull out that money? Where am I gonna find that? Just because you own a house doesn't mean you suddenly have all of the money needed to like take care of everything and every part of it. Your hope is that you don't run into those problems while you live there. You know? But it sucks because then you're tricked in a way into more debt. Because if you look at like my example just now, okay, your roof is fucked. You need a new roof. You have no choice. What do? Okay, you go to the bank. You try to get a loan because you have no money to pay for a new roof. The bank says, okay, well we'll do a HELOC or a HELoan, which is like a home equity loan, where basically we take out a loan on your home's equity value. And okay, well if you can't afford to pay it back or anything happens, they just take your house. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense because like you didn't pay it back. But at the same time, like there's not always like a ton of leeway depending on the bank that you're dealing with. They'll just fucking send you to collections and you're like, just give me an extra week. Like, I'm trying. And like then you're credit scores like fucked up because of getting sent to collections, and like you end up spiraling downwards because, okay, well now my credit score's fucked up, so I'll never be able to get any additional loans. So let's say I fixed my roof, but now, you know, something else goes terribly wrong. We find out that there's black mold and we have to get that fixed. Like, now what am I supposed to do? Because now my credit score is fucked because I couldn't necessarily completely pay off everything else. So now I just have to live in this toxic mold place. Okay, but now I'm sick because I've been living with toxic mold. But my my health insurance doesn't properly cover what I need to be able to get the medical treatment. And now I'm dead. You know, like there's, I don't know. It's, the thing is it all comes around. You know? If we look at the way things are, it can all loop around to like the same sort of ideals and concepts and understanding. You know, the lack of pay is causing problems. The lack of resources available is causing problems. We wouldn't need as many resources if we got proper pay, because people wouldn't have as much trouble paying their bills because they'd be able to actually pay things. If bills were a reasonable amount. The fucking upcharge on medical things is absolutely absurd. Absolutely fucking absurd. I know there's a lot of people that get mad because they think surgeons make way too much money. I don't necessarily completely disagree with surgeons making too much money, but I also think surgeons like kind of have a lot of really negative factors about their job, so the extra money is part of the like little bit of benefit that they get. Like, they can only get so much. Like, how much time do they spend in surgery? How much time do they spend away from their family? How many times do they get urgent emergency calls because they have to save someone's life? I don't know, that shit's a lot. So like, if they get a little bit extra, I'm okay with that. I know not everyone agrees, but I also think that there are some surgeons that are completely fucking obscenely overpaid. Another thing is how insurance companies decide what is considered coverage, or like covered, what's considered needed versus non-needed treatments, things like that. I don't know, there's like, okay, let's look at nose jobs, okay? When you think of a nose job, a lot of people think about it in the way of a vanity thing. A person doesn't like their nose, so they want a surgery to make their nose look different, to change the shape of their nose. That's true, that is one option. However, there are also instances where a nose job is medically needed. You know, you have a deviated septum that makes it impossible for you to breathe out of your nose, and at night you stop breathing because of the fact that you can't breathe. You know? Like, shit, what did I get last time? Okay. So like, there's medical reasons for these things, but sometimes the insurance company denies it because they make the assumption, or that they decide that it's a vanity thing, that it's not medically needed. Everyone talks shit about weight loss surgery. It's like a very contentious like discussion. Some people think that it's cheating. Some people think that it's not fair. Some people think that it's just an excuse to be able to continue your bad habits. Like, there's a lot of like opinions about it. But a lot of insurance companies don't deem it as a medically necessary surgery. The thing is like, we still don't fully understand why some people weigh a lot more than others. Even knowing what they eat and the amount of exercise they do. We can look at two people that live very, very similar lifestyles, and one is overweight and one is not. There have been these studies done. They're becoming more and more like talked about, but it's basically where they'll take two people that are very, very similar, and they will take the person between sorry, it's normally one person that's a little bit more overweight and then one person that's skinny and healthy. And they will essentially take fecal matter and put it into the stomach of the person who's a little bit overweight. And what they've found is it changes the gut biome and it changes how your body processes foods and stores things like sugars and fats, and completely changes your body. And so you can go from like being a very active overweight person to suddenly like being a very active normal sized person because you ate shit. And like the only understanding that they have is because it adjusts your stomach biome, and like fuck, which one of these is the bad portal that I don't want to go on? I think it's that one. I think I want to go on this one. But like they're still doing research on that as far as like an option for dealing with weight issues. But it's just the idea that like people believe that if you're overweight it's because you eat too much and you're lazy is just unrealistic and not true. Not in all cases, at least. There are cases of that, but the thing is like I said, it's deeming something medically necessary versus non-medically necessary, and the only person who can make that decision is your doctor. And it's stupid that the insurance companies are trying to make this decision for you when your doctor's saying one thing and you're saying another. I don't like that. I mean, I don't know how else I can like say it, because like it just comes off as kind of dickish, but like your doctor knows your full history. They know about you, they know about your care, they work with you to help figure out your needs and what you want out of your life and your medical health. There are instances where people are suffering every day with pain, constant pain, and they can't do anything about it. But like, it's not for lack of options, it's just the insurance companies deem their options that are available to them non-medical necessary. I mean, a lot of people know the YouTuber, I can't think of her name right now. But she had her leg amputated because of having constant problems with her leg. She was pretty much walking on crutches all the time. She was unable to be active, so she got it amputated instead of dealing with constant pain on a regular basis. Something like that might be deemed non-medically necessary. But, I mean, medically, like, she did a complete, like, 180 and is now able to, like, go hiking with her prosthetic and, like, go and do all these other things and is no longer spending a lot of time in the hospital. She had like, I don't know, like a shit ton of surgeries already to try to like handle the issue. So like in the long run, it probably saved the insurance company money because they weren't paying for all of the additional surgeries that she would still need if she had the limb that was causing problems. But like, they don't look at it that way. Again, back to weight loss surgery. Okay, you do weight loss surgery, it basically resets your stomach functionality and biome. A lot of people think that it's just about shrinking the stomach, but it's not. It does a lot more than just that. But so, okay, now you lose weight, you're a healthier person, you go to the doctor less, you have less medical problems, and suddenly you're saving the insurance company money because you're not going to the doctor every day because you're in pain or you feel sick or you're having problems. So like, it's frustrating because it doesn't feel like insurance companies look at the big picture. They just don't look at your medical records, they don't look at your prior problems, they just look at it as an individual instance and say, okay, this person wants this elective surgery that's not required. No, we're not gonna pay for it. And it's unfair in my opinion. I really dislike the idea of insurance companies deciding what options you have available. It just seems fucked up. And a lot of the times their argument is that they have medical staff that make these decisions or have told them that this is the way that it should be. But the thing is you can go to 10 different doctors and get 10 different, like, responses to an issue. You know? I have been to probably hundreds of doctors. I've had doctors tell me that all my problems are because of my weight, all my problems are because of depression, all my problems are because of my period, all my problems are because I have sex. You know, like, there's lots of different bullshit that we're told, and, you know, I hate to say it, but, like, I very much just also want to note, if you dislike what your doctor is saying to you and you don't believe them, get a second opinion. Fuck that guy. Fuck that woman. Like, give them the middle finger and go fuck off to find someone new. You know your body better than anyone, and if you think there's something wrong or you think that something should be done, then you need to fucking speak up. You can't beat around the bush with that kind of shit. Like, it's just not worth it to put your life and your health at risk because one person is too fucking pompously overconfident in their fact that they believe that women are just whiny bitches. You know, just saying. Just saying. I have had a lot of experiences with male doctors essentially brushing off all of my concerns with the response of, oh, well, it's just like woman hormones. Which is like, excuse me, sir, you went to school to be a doctor and you still don't know what the fuck that means. Like, what? But anyway, I could bitch about that all day. My point being is, the US sucks. I think it's absurd that I pay a fortune every month for medical insurance. It's almost half my paycheck. Like I know I say that I pay a fortune, but like I feel like people can't visualize that. Imagine half of your paycheck going to trying to keep you alive, and then it's still not enough money. You still end up paying too much. Like, I don't know. It's so awful. And then like I look at situations where like people have cancer or other like very dangerous terminal or like really awful like diseases and like things, and like they're stuck in a position where they're essentially forced to leave a death gift to their family and relatives of debt. And they have no choice, and they can't do anything about it. And that's sad and awful. I mean, obviously everyone needs to get paid, care needs to get paid for. All of that needs to be, you know, something that we work on as a society, you know? But letting people suffer long-term like financial like burdens like this are, it just doesn't seem like a smart solution to me. I don't know. It's like we were very worried about the economy during COVID, like towards the early parts of COVID. And that's why like we got our like stimulus like money, like they were like, take this money please and spend it, because nobody's spending money, so nobody has any money, so no, we're not getting anywhere with like the economy, everything's dying. And so people got like $2,000 and they fucking spent it, and they were like, everything's working again, yay. Because the thing is, if you give people money, they will spend it. Like, they'll spend it on what they need, they'll spend it on things that they want. If they feel comfortable in like their current living situation, they're more likely to spend it on things that they just want or like to enjoy. When a person's like stuck in a situation where they can't afford anything, then they're obviously not gonna go out and spend money on things like movies, games, you know? Like, I feel like people forget. Like, why is the movie theater industry dying? Oh, well, I fucking wonder. Because everyone's too goddamn poor to go to the movie theaters. It's not just about, like, streaming. I mean, that is a factor, but it's not the only factor. And, like, you know, just wish people would think about it more. I almost died fucking getting wrecked over here. But yeah, I don't know. I could complain all day about not having enough money. I think everyone to some degree feels that, like, that struggle of just being stuck in a situation where you just can't get ahead. You just always feel like you're being pulled back. And every time a new giant debt pops up, it feels that way even more. Because I finally had felt like I was getting to a stable position where I was like okay with things. Like I said towards the beginning, I get like a lot of anxiety around money. I grew up in a family where it's like I was told that money is the most important thing, and that like if you can't afford things, then you're garbage. You're a trash human. And so like that's always kind of stuck with me. Not like the you're garbage part, but more of that money is very, very, very important, and without it you'll die. And that's very stressful. Nobody wants to feel that way, of that like intense fear and need for something. It's like a fear of money, but a need for it. It's like a requirement in order to function. And it's, I don't know, that need is scary. I just hate it. Like, I really just don't like money. I don't like how we are so reliant on, like, things, and it's so risky. I don't know. Life sucks, basically. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm stressed out because basically I have a huge debt now of like $18,000 that I have to figure out how to pay for my medical bills. And on top of it, like, I had mentioned that I just did blood work recently. So I have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. And, one of the things that you can do when you're younger to like help deal with cysts and like prevent them from occurring is take birth control. So I had been taking birth control since I was like 13. Which is like difficult too, because let me tell you, you get so much shit going to a pharmacy as like a 13-year-old to pick up birth control because they fucking think you're a whore, and you're over there just being like, I just don't want cysts to kill me. It hurts a lot. So please stop being shit. So like, fuck you guys. All of those people who made me feel stressed and made me feel scared and like I was a monster, I was some disgusting creature. Fuck you. Fuck you. You knew nothing about me. How dare you judge me? Anyways. But yeah, it sucks. People suck. Life sucks. Close there. See my health going down. Scary. But yeah, so I took birth control when I was younger. One of the like rarer side effects of birth control is liver adenomas, which are basically like benign liver masses. I'll be honest, I didn't know anything about that when I was taking birth control. It was never something that I understood was a possibility. It was never something that I was like regularly checked for or anything like that. I didn't know about it until I had to deal with it. Basically I went to the doctor and they were like, your liver is covered in masses. It's maybe okay. And sometimes those liver adenomas can like progress into other things and cause other problems, but it's hard to like say. When I went to the doctor, they basically told me that they would just monitor the size and that they might be fine. That they didn't want to do a biopsy or anything. They were just gonna keep an eye on it. But that was before COVID started. And then COVID happened, and I've only had it scanned like once since the first time they found it. But when they found it, the reason they found it was because like a specific blood test of mine came back like really high. It's called like a alkaline phosphorus or something like that. It came up like really, really high. And they were like, oh, there's something wrong with your liver. And I was like, do I need that? Because I don't drink or anything either. So like, I was like, liver? What's this for? um, but yeah, so when they first noticed the adenomas, they said that that liver level was very, very high. They said that if I stop taking birth control, the liver level should level out, but I'll probably get cysts. So I'll have like very painful and awful, excruciating periods, which happens. It's awful. It's debilitating. People don't understand how like severely painful it is, which sucks. But anyways, my point is that I got a blood test and the levels have started to like drastically increase again. From the last time I got a blood test, which wasn't super long ago. So I've got to get my livers checked, or my livers. I have 10 livers. I have to get my liver checked again to see if I'm dying. And like, I'm afraid to go. Not because like I'm worried about what they'll find, but because I'm afraid of like ending up with a giant medical bill. And that shouldn't be something that I have to be afraid of. That shouldn't be something that like I don't get treatment because I'm scared of. And like I almost hate myself for like being nervous about it. Like I just need to grow up and like go to the doctor. But like, what happens if it is a problem? What happens if I need a new liver? Like, what am I supposed to fucking do? Yeah, I get on the transplant list, but then like, how much is it gonna cost me? Would it be less money to just die? And like, people wonder why I'm depressed. I fucking wonder, sir. Could it be the fact that life is so expensive and depressing? I don't know. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's definitely scary to like try to figure out, how do I pay these bills? How do I survive? How do I live with these problems? How do I deal with these things? There's never going to be a point in life where like I completely plan for everything and there's never a concern. There's always going to be some kind of issue or mistake that I didn't think of, or like situational trouble. And like, what can you do? You know, you just do your best to continue surviving and make as much as you can and work as hard as you can and get by. But like, I don't know, it's not easy. And then it's also hard because I think that's a large part of why people choose the careers that they do. I was talking with my husband about this the other day. I specifically chose a career in game programming because I knew that I could utilize it in other fields. I wanted to do something that was semi-artistic, but that like I knew I could survive off of in a way without like being super fearful of like, again, not being able to live off of it. The ideal of doing game design, or I'm sorry, game programming was that like regardless, everyone needs programmers for shit, so I'll figure something out, like even if I end up doing like a shitty banking programming job, which is exactly what I'm doing. Like, I'll figure it out. But if I had gone for art, which is what I originally wanted to do, I felt like there was no way that I'd be able to survive off of that. There was no way that I'd be able to be successful enough to be able to afford the medical bills that I had at that point in time. There was no way that I'd be able to like live. I would die, basically, was my fear. And it wasn't unfounded. Like, there was a lot of reasons for me to have that fear. But I feel like that's sad. The thought of like being stuck in a position where you feel like you have no choice but to choose something that will make you unhappy. But like, you know that it's the option. It's what you have. Like, what else are you supposed to do? You know? I don't know. It just sucks. I wish there was more, I was about to say customizability in life. And it's almost like that to some degree. I wish there was more feasibility of you doing what you want and not always being so focused on the hard line of, will I be able to live off of this? Because I feel like because I put so much time into my current job and my work, like, even if I wanted to do art as a hobby, I just feel like I don't have time for it. Like, yes, I say this as I'm streaming, but like, people can have multiple hobbies, guys. I just feel like it's hard to allow yourself to do something that you know won't get you anywhere. I play games anyways. Like, I play games regardless if I'm streaming. So like, for me, there's a little bit of leeway there, because I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm not gonna necessarily make money off of this, but I'm playing games anyways, so like, you know, it's probably fine. But then if we look at something like when I work on art, like art is for, the art that I make is for me. I don't make it with the intention of sharing it with the public. I just think I'm too bad at art to do that. So like, what do I get from it? You know, what's the benefit? Like, I get stressed because I'm scared that I'm doing a bad job and that people will hate it. I get stressed and scared because I feel like, am I wasting my time? You know? And like, all of these things make me question, is this right? So it's hard. So, I don't know. Feels sad. Life do be sad. But, you know, we're still alive and we're still trucking along, and we'll keep doing that until the time comes for me to, I don't know, get a fucking life, bitch. No, I'm just teasing. But yeah, we did it. We beat the boss again. Yeah. I'll point out what I got as a tattoo when it comes up, because it is one of the images from the credits screens here. So I'm very, very excited about it. It looks very cute, and I really like it because when my sleeve's down, you can just see his little toesies peeking out the bottom, and I think it's the cutest fucking thing. I love it so much. Let's see, he's coming up soon. Oh, how exciting. I really do love these little design sketches though. It just looks like somebody having fun and trying to figure out what they want to go in the game, you know? It makes me feel nostalgic to when I used to make games more often. Yeah. And some of them are so different from the final designs, where others are so similar. Because the brain stalks are basically done, but then the stable Tesla coil looks very different. Yeah, look at this Grove Tender. This is what I got as my tattoo. This cute little guy here. I gotta love him. It looks so good. It looks just like it. I love it very much. Okay, kiddos. We're gonna end it there. We're not gonna watch through the full credits because I'm lazy and I do have to wash the dye out of my hair. It's been about an hour and 20 minutes. My hair is gonna be very pink, and I'm gonna enjoy it. But yeah, thank you guys for chilling with me, listening to me rant as I always do. It's a joy. I do appreciate your time spending it with me. If you watch this later on YouTube, feel free to leave a comment and just kind of say hi. Don't forget to subscribe or like or follow or whatever. But what I actually want from you guys is I'm thinking about playing some Risk of Rain mods. So if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. I do want to know what are out there that you guys would like to see, because I've seen a lot. So I'd like to check some out. But yeah, that's it, guys. I love you all, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.